gentlemen, welcome back to the Hot Joint. Our next guest, she likes to dabble with the dead, and she's also a bartender at night, amongst other things. Please welcome to the Hot Joint, Mortician Val Herrera. Hey, thank you. Oh, what's the lights? Yes, thank you. Oh, yeah. I better put this away. Now, how you doing this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
I've been better.
Long recovery.
Yeah, but it's better to be on this end talking to you than on the other end. So you mess with dead bodies, I'm told, right?
Yeah, it's a mortician's motto where it's like, my job starts when your life ends.
Oh my gosh! Wow, so they can't complain. What do you do to them?
So pretty much embalming. I have worked on a few autopsy cases. So just prepping and cleaning and making sure they're ready for either to be viewed or to be cremated. So. Oh
yeah, I knew a guy that worked at a cremation home. It doesn't pay well, he said. But you know what he did? He'd save the titanium out of people's joints. I don't think he was supposed to. In fact, I think that's why he got fired. But he would save them in a bucket. And he showed them to me one time. He had like a Home Depot bucket full of people's knee joints.
I believe it's highly illegal, but I mean, a lot of people still do it. So you can find all kinds of things online. I found an artist who actually sells like a bunch of the silicone molds and stuff that they use underneath, like say for instance if you were to lose your leg or a nipple or something. They actually have prosthetics and things that they use.
Like a cadaver nipple or
yeah, for viewing purposes.
I see what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Do they take them off afterwards or do they send them home with it?
No, they take them out.
They reuse them.
No, they don't reuse them, but
they take them off before they put them in the casket.
Because they can't be cremated like that. So.
Oh yeah, what is it, like latex or silicone or something?
Yeah, silicone.
Yeah, I've dabbled in that myself from time to time. But So you fix them up. Mm-hmm. What did you say? You did something at a few autopsy cases where you had to determine what the cause of death was?
Yeah, well, the first, when I did my first cases, because while you're in school, you're supposed to complete at least 12 cases before you're able to move on to the next quarter. And so the first 3 that I worked on were actually autopsy cases.
Wow.
And it was my first time walking in there. And I honestly thought I was going to faint. But once I got in, I was actually pretty comfortable and surprised that I was able to just be open about it and view, the cadavers the way they were.
You don't really know until you walk in and see the dead body.
Oh yeah, and I mean, in school they have an actual prepping station where you're able to view other students actually working on cadavers. But it's nothing as it is like one-on-one.
Where you first have to touch it?
Yeah.
And they're cold? The bodies are cold, aren't they? Every funeral I go to, I try to touch the body. I don't know why. I just one finger and I feel it and I say, man, he's dead. Just to know they're dead. I do that sometimes, but...
No one's came alive?
No, it's just, I don't know, it's weird. There is like a weird dead thing, because I know something like that's gone on, because I'm looking at them, you can tell everything. You're like, yeah, they've make-upped them up a little bit, and they've like made them smile. How do you make them smile? You stuff their cheeks full of something?
Usually it's either cotton, or they'll use a mouthpiece to make sure, because in death they say that because the eyes are closed, the way you're viewed, your smile is kind of how to be perceived when you're dead. So that we always have to make sure that the person's not grinning, or they have to look at least like presentable.
Yeah.
So you don't want someone looking sad or or
is there ever one that's just so bad you have to shut the lid and tell them, this ain't gonna work?
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's been a couple that I worked on.
Motorcycle accidents are always rough.
And car accidents.
Oh yeah, I've been to a few of those.
Yeah.
Closed lid funerals. Yeah. So you don't have a problem touching the dead at this point. How long have you been doing this?
So I just graduated in March, at the end of March, but I've worked on a few cases, so it's been a few months, but I feel like I've already learned so much already, and just want to continue to grow and learn.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've done a few cases already. So.
Do you remember a TV show like when you had to go to driving school? They'd show you called Red Asphalt. Do you remember that? It was just like one car wreck after another, and it was shot in the 1960s, and it was just horrible car wrecks.
No.
They'd make it, and there was like part 2 and 3. And in our driving school when I was 15, they made us watch that, and I almost fainted. I had to get out of there quick because it was just, they showed blood in the gutter. And then after that, I had to come back, and he wanted me to watch it a second time. He's like, all right, you got to watch it again now, because I didn't make it through. So now I had to watch it again, and I didn't make it through. I said, look, I'm going to throw up if you keep showing this to me. I was like 15 years old. And then to make it even worse, I wasn't a good driver when I started with, and I couldn't like turn right. And then that same guy that made me watch that video, he said, I ain't letting you out there with my wife and kids on the street. You saw the video? You saw what happened? And I was like, yeah, I almost fainted twice, you idiot. And he looked like Wyatt Earp. He had like a fucking mustache like this. He looked just like Wyatt Earp, bald, and yeah, he was an asshole. But anyways, I'd be horrible at doing that. So you got any plans? You're gonna start working full time at a funeral home or something? And
yeah, definitely a mortuary, crematory, because I want to learn how to do crematory stuff as well.
Oh yeah.
And then probably apprentice for a few years, maybe move somewhere else and try to gain some experience in another state.
Yeah.
See how they do things and they practice. But yeah, I guess that's a good thing about even having this job is I can pretty much go anywhere.
Yeah, so you have to be certified for this or something, yeah.
Yeah, you have to be certified and have your license for it.
Wow, so what, they suck all the juices out of them. What do they do with them? Just put them down the drain or something? I've heard that's what happens. Everyone's always shocked to hear that, but I already knew that's what they did.
Yeah, they do. It was funny because while in school, one of the first prepping that we did, the fluids all started going down the drain, and the girls were like, so where does that end up? And everyone's like, they wouldn't say.
They didn't want to say where.
But I mean, that's pretty much everywhere. It's going to go down the sewage. That's where everything ends up. So.
There's probably worse stuff in the sewer than that, huh?
Probably, yeah.
I mean, not much worse, but that's that makes you never want to go down the sewer. I used to go down there when I was a kid, but yeah, never again.
Also just try to find weird things.
Yeah, it was always a fun time in the sewer, but damn, yeah, don't go in one by the. Did you hear there was a home that was like leaving the bodies like in the refrigerators and not they were like charging them and giving them coal or something?
I heard one actually like a few years ago, which was, I think it was North Carolina.
Yeah.
Where so they were taking in like fetal, like just all kinds of like babies and stuff that you normally couldn't you normally couldn't prep, so they would have to actually cremate them. And it turned out that this funeral home was actually keeping them in the attic. And they counted, I think it was over like 100 of them that were in the attic. And what was happening was they were actually getting paid to cremate all of these cadavers, and they weren't. Instead of actually using their crematory to do them, they were trying to save money. So they were getting paid for it and then just keeping the actual cadavers.
What were they, mummifying them or something to keep them from stinking? They just left them up
there and kind of just forgot about them.
Wouldn't that stink like hell?
That's what I thought, but I don't know. I don't know if maybe they were embalming them first so that they could be preserved. And then
how long is a body good for if you do that? Like if somebody's laying in there, how long are they going to be?
If you're doing embalming, if you already do your embalming, it's going to last probably up to 3 days max.
Oh, really? That's it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, no longer.
Because they dug up Lee Harvey Oswald. He looked like hell. You saw that? He was,
It's, and it also depends on how much like formaldehyde and stuff you're using.
Yeah.
Because they're all different kind of bases for different accidents and things that happen. And different colors of skin and tones and stuff like that. So it also depends on how much you're using. I went to...
what color is formaldehyde? Is it like blue or green or something?
No, it's it's like a clear. It's like alcohol looking. But with all the chemicals you use, so like if you're using like toner, if you're using what else? There's a whole bunch of things that you mix in order to actually embalm the body. So a lot of times it can be from like an orange color to
why? Because you can
red.
see through them if they're real pale or something.
Yeah. So what happens is, you want to be able to get, especially for viewing purposes, you want to be able to see like an actual skin tone and not just like a gray or I don't know. Just
not make them look blue or something. I saw my grandma one time. She had like a blue thing right here. I don't know what that was, but I was real young, so I might be remembering it wrong. But you ever went to the body farm?
No, I want to go there.
Where is that in Atlanta or?
I don't think it's Atlanta.
It might be here in Texas somewhere then.
I don't think it's in Texas either. I don't know, but I know it's not too far from here.
Yeah.
But I keep hearing about that, and a lot of people keep posting about it.
Yeah, they just lay them all out.
Yeah.
Whoa, that'd be rough. Wow. Yeah. That'd be a rough place to go. I like the worst dead body I ever seen. I was in traffic one time, and I saw like lights were stopping up, and everything was going backing up, like everyone had to put on the brakes. And I saw a big puff of smoke, like a mile up ahead, maybe even closer than that. But I couldn't see the details of it. Then, like, this whole thing lasted like 30 or 45 minutes before the cops showed up and waved everyone along. What happened? A guy in a van, I heard about it on the news later. He like pulled out and somebody T-boned and the whole thing went up in flames. He got burnt to a crisp.
Yeah.
And he was like this. And it was like you ever seen one of those?
Yeah, I've seen.
What do they in a case like that?
There's not honestly really much you can do, especially for viewing purposes.
Take them to the.
Pretty much cremate.
Do they get a discount since the job's already done? No. Well, yeah. The guy I knew that worked at a crematory said sometimes if stuff got mixed up, they had some that they'd give you in the back.
Does he still work for
No,
it?
this was years and years. This guy might be dead at this point. I don't know what happened. He was always dusty from the stuff though. And he said he'd have to wrestle the heavy bodies in there, and sometimes if they were big, he said that they'd take two of these wooden things and he'd throw them in. I don't know. He's telling me all the details of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy. Well, so you did forensics and stuff with bones and all that, or?
No, just pretty much just embalming and then cosmetics.
Oh, so it's like makeup and stuff. Yeah.
And then as far as bones and stuff go, I mean, I've dabbled in a little like taxidermy. And doing like cleaning or wet specimens, and just I worked on a lot of birds lately.
Really?
And just kind of positioning.
What like fish? They don't do them like they used to. You get a mold nowadays, right? You don't get a real fish, or somebody might.
Yeah, there's you can actually get real ones, or if you want to do moles, there's a lot of that actually happening though.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. It's like a lot of molds and stuff. But look, I brought some stuff. My grandpa used to be a taxidermist.
What? Let
me see. I know the smell of the place.
Yeah.
It's a very distinct smell. Let me see.
You never wanted to learn?
Not really. Look, this is one of his old. There you go. It's had some better days.
How old is this?
Oh shit, that might be from the 60s. You think it has poison in it? Like it's got dust that fall. Look, there's some right there.
Yeah.
What do you think? What is that? I've always wondered what that was. Sawdust or something, maybe?
Probably.
And look,
actually,
see at the bottom, they stitched them up.
That is neat.
Yeah. He had a whole shitload of stuff, too. I inherited a bunch of it. Like, nobody wanted that, but...
I wonder what he used, because that does look like sawdust, actually.
Yeah. Be careful, it shits it all out at some point. But yeah, there's that one. Oh, then I got this funny snake here. I don't know what... It's like a spring, too, see? It bounces, kind of. It's not meant to do that, but... I know that's some weird snake from Malaysia, I think.
That is neat.
Yeah. I got that off eBay one time.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was buying Cobra wine. You ever had that? It's like a Cobra, a jar of wine with.
Actually, we have my fiance and I. We have one. He got that. I think it's a Cobra in. Is it a tequila?
Yeah, it's usually like a
whiskey. It's in a whiskey
yeah,
bottle.
like
but
a
there's
Johnny
Cobra
Walker
inside.
bag. Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks neat.
Yeah.
Super,
Have you
super
drank
cool.
any of it?
No. I don't know.
I drank some one
I'm
night.
not sure.
Oh, it was a mistake. Don't do it. It was like the worst hangover ever, and I kept belching it up, and I kept like thinking the next day, because that's the only way I would have drank it, because I had no ambitions of drinking the Cobra snake wine.
Yeah.
And one night I got real drunk, ran out of beer. It was after hours. I couldn't get any more. And I opened up that old fucking Cobra snake wine, and I drank like half of it. And then shit started, like Cobra scales were in it. It was probably old by the time I did it. And but it was strong too, and it tasted horrible. Oh God, that's why I only drank half of it. And then the next day I woke up and I saw it, and I said, I can't believe I drank that. And then the hangover came. It was like a whole day hangover. But yeah, don't ever drink your Cobra snake wine. Pull that curtain up. Not you, Stacy. It's yeah. Look, here it comes. Oh, there's my old dog Willie.
What? Who
Yeah.
was that?
I could only find one guy, and apparently, as you can tell, he was the worst taxidermist in town. I had this dog. He was like 130 pounds. My favorite dog I've ever had in my life. I was heartbroken when he died. Like, I just didn't talk on the phone or nothing for a week. And I just drank a bunch of beer, and his dead body was laying in my garage, and I had like ice on him. I was like, man, I got to figure out what to do. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stuff him. So I started calling. Nobody wanted to do it. Like no, and this is why, because he used a coyote mount. That looks nothing like Willie. Willie looked so much better in real life. But anyways, I found this guy, and I was drunk, so I took my dead dog, and it was like moving a body at this point. That's a heavy dog. Yeah, it was a lab, like the size of a small bear. So I wrestle him in the truck, take him over there to Fort Worth, and this old man, he's like 86 or 87. He's like, yeah, I'm about the only one that does it anymore. And so I talked to him about taxidermist stuff, and he took the dog, and then I was like, well, I want to cremate him too, what's left over of him. So now I got ashes along with the fur, and I had to go back for the body parts. And he had them, he goes, I've got them in quarters. I guess that's like hunter lingo or something, like for deer. They cut them up in fourths.
Yeah.
And so he goes, I got your dog in quarters. So I had him in sacks. I had to go get my dog in sacks, load him up in the back of the truck, then take him to the guy that was going to cremate him off 183, in Hearst. And they were close. I had to go around to the back and unload my dog in this refrigerator. And during that, one of the pieces of my dog fell out, and I had to see that. I was like, this is a fucking shitty idea from the beginning. After it just got worse and worse. And then 2 weeks later, when he was ready, I went over there, and he had his ears out. I don't know why. Why would the guy do that? Is there some reason that I might not?
Well, I mean, you didn't really do a good job in the first
Oh, I know. He used a coyote mount, and he made it look like he's smiling. And he like, this dog had a wrinkly face like me, kind of. Everyone always said we looked alike. And not now. He stretched him out. There's no wrinkles on that dog's face at all. He looks like a Mickey Rourke facelift. And then what he did, he had to get two coyotes. That's why it's got a long, like a limousine-like look in the middle, because he had to cut them in half, glue them together. And and this all happened after a really expensive surgery. See how his legs are shaved? He had like IVs and stuff. He had a big tumor is what it was. And they took it out, and he didn't make it. But yeah, it was like the worst thing ever.
See, I want to be as good as to be able to do.
There needs to be somebody like you.
Things like that.
Yeah, but you know what they do? There's somebody that freezes them in Florida. You heard about that? Like a dry freeze thing for your pets, but it's real expensive. They charge by the pound, and at this rate, I'd probably have to take out a second mortgage with like 140 pounds. But you can send them your cat, whatever it is, a gerbil, it's probably cheap, and they dry freeze it. You'll have to look it up. It's in Florida. Some guy in Florida does it, but yeah. that's
in school, they actually asked us if we wanted to own our own like mortuary or what we wanted to do a few years down the line. And I originally was like, no, I don't think I ever want to own a mortuary or own a funeral home at all. I think it would be a lot of like just legal, legal shit and a lot of things that I just don't want to
I wouldn't want to
with.
deal with the people.
Yeah.
Because what if you do a bad job or something? Like,
yeah. But then I came across something that it was kind of like a mortuary crematory, but also for pets as well. So you do like actual, human cadavers and work on pets as well and combine it. And I was like, actually, that doesn't sound like a bad idea.
In the same building? Or Wow.
Maybe
there was
half, for your pets and stuff. And then
like they'll save the pet for you to die?
You could
and then do like a group funeral,
taxidermy, or cremate them.
Or there's a real famous Bigfoot hunter named Grover Krantz, and you'll have to look it up online because he donated himself to the body farm when he died. He's like a real tall guy. He's like almost 7 feet tall, and he had these great, or they're not Great Danes, Irish wolfhounds. You ever seen one of those? They're like big. They look like Bigfoot.
Up, like not too long ago.
Yeah.
So now I know what it looks like.
Like a Bigfoot almost, and that's probably why this guy had them. He had 2 of them. They were his beloved pets. And anyways, when he wanted to, when he died, they made a statue of Grover Krantz and his 2 dogs, and they're like real tall. But yeah, that's crazy. You could do stuff like that.
Yeah.
You just have to find the right person. There's probably a lot of them out there too.
Nowadays, I feel like taxidermy has been really in and kind of like a hobby. For a lot of people. So I mean, you see it everywhere now. So I'm pretty sure you can.
You went to school for that as well? Or?
No, not for that. It was kind of self-taught, kind of experimenting a bit.
Yeah.
And then just realized oh wow, this is actually pretty meditating. I don't know. It's pretty nice to work on things and just I don't know, piece them all together. But
you ever thought of making like a scene, like fights or something?
And all that stuff.
Yeah.
I got asked by one of my regulars the other day if I could actually work on something for him, and he wants to do something out. Not just, position them, actually do some kind of scene like that, and not a fight scene, but he was like, will you do something weird for me? And I was like, yeah, just tell me what you want and I'll do it.
Gosh. Wow. Yeah, there's probably 99% of the taxidermy business is a deer head, I bet.
Yeah.
Around here anyways.
Yeah, deer heads and
So yeah, it'd be cool to find somebody
birds.
That's into other stuff.
Yeah.
Besides that, you get too much of that crap, you'd drive you crazy. Bunch of deer heads. I've got deer heads here, and I've never even been deer hunting.
Yeah.
So that's how many deer heads there are in this state. But almost forgot. You're not into bodies or anything, but or into bones. I mean, you said, but check this out. You got, let's see what I got here in a suitcase. I knew a magician back in. He was from Pennsylvania. I got to tell the story before I open this because it's pretty grim what we have in here. He was a magician, and he was like an old magician that had cancer or something. He wasn't doing good. He was selling off all his crap, and I met him online or something, and we were talking. This was like back in 2006 or something. Anyways, he had this trick he used to do where he'd cut somebody in half, but then he'd turn the bottom half of them into a skeleton, and then he'd turn this half of them into a skeleton, but it was like real bones and everything. And he only had one half. He didn't know what happened to the other half. I bought the bottom half of this person, and I've had it there for a few years. Check it out. Yeah, I think it was originally some kind of doctor deal, because look, it was all wired up when I got it, and then my house flooded, and the wire rusted. But yeah, we got a little bit of everything in there. I don't know why these are different colors though. That's kind of weird, ain't it? He might have shellacked them. I think so, or at some point I might have shellacked them. I don't know.
It almost looks like a stain is added on them.
I might have started to stain them, but yeah. So what can you look? Here's the foot. Can you tell how old they were or anything? What else do you need? I mean, we've got everything from the waist down, and that's it. Wait, is that an arm? Yeah, we got an arm too. he was supposed to send me the rest of the stuff when he found it, but that's all I got. Yeah.
How long have you had it?
Shit, 15 years maybe. I mean, look, it might have been, look, if this is him, that's a tall person right there, right? Yeah, so it might have been a 6 foot tall person with small feet.
That's some really small feet, though.
Yeah, so it might have been from he had different stuff he put together or something.
That's what I'm thinking, because it doesn't look like it all, like, matches.
Yeah, this doesn't either.
That's pretty small, yeah.
Does any of this look like animal stuff?
Honestly, no.
Yeah, so now I have this person's bones sitting down here, and I don't know what to do with stuff like this. Out of respect, I wish I could give it back to the guy or something. I'm stuck with this for life.
If you don't keep it, give it a proper burial.
Yeah.
That could work too.
I'd probably have to consult you about that, because I wouldn't. Anytime I've buried anything in the backyard, whether it was a snake or whatever,
that, like,
yeah,
digs it
my
up.
dog always digs it up, and I have to see it later.
That's nuts. Okay.
Yeah, so that was part of his magician's act, and I never heard from the guy. He's probably dead by now. But what's the strangest thing you've ever seen while doing all of this?
I think, honestly, the different color of fluids that come out of people, that might sound really weird.
Dude, when you're doing this, what do you have something in your nose?
Yeah, you're
stuff.
supposed to. So I'll tell you a story. So one of, I think this was like the second case that I worked on, and it was at a funeral home out in Tyler, Texas. I'm not going to say which one.
Yeah.
But there was a guy who was supposed to be, I guess, training us or watching over us while we actually worked on a cadaver. And he was so set on not using any, like, PPE, which is, like, personal equipment that you're supposed to use in order to actually be in a prep room, which is pretty much, like, anything that covers your face, your mouth, to cover the smell, like, you have to double glove, you wear... just pretty much the whole thing.
If it's a rotten one.
You
Anyone.
just should be wearing it in general, because you don't want any of that.
Because, like, on the X-Files, they're always just wearing a thing, like eating pizza while they're opening up some. So I knew that was fake. There's no way that's going.
The X-Files.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but
I almost thought that was Willie for a second. I was like, hey, look. But
he was just like, trying to be all cool about it, and was like, oh, I don't need to wear any of this.
He's trying to be like
there.
tough.
Yeah,
like he liked the smell
I've
of
been
death.
doing this for so long that I just don't need to wear it. So he starts pouring in like.
I can tell you right now, that's a fool talking right. Ugh.
He starts pouring in like the embalming fluid and all the tanning stuff and everything. And sure enough, as he's pouring it in, it all splashes in his eye.
What? It's like somebody's mixture of...
Yeah, the fluids that he was mixing in
they collected...
to actually embalm.
The chemicals.
The chemicals,
oh, shit.
And it actually like struck him in the eye, and he stepped back, and we were all just looking at each other like, well, dumbass, like you should have been wearing, your protective.
What did he have to do? Go wash himself?
He was flushing his eye out for a bit, and stayed under there for probably a good hour. Like solid hour. I
saw somebody get carburetor cleaner sprayed in their eye, and I thought it was unusually hilarious too. It was the way it happened. It was in high school. There was like a crack in the wall between the wood shop and the auto tech guys, and like we were spraying stuff back and forth. Some dumbass put his eye up to it, and it got him right in the eye just like that. So I know how funny it can be when that happens.
And I've also seen someone get, because usually you have to drain out, a bunch of your insides while you're embalming, and one of the guys.
What do they do with all that? Back down the drain?
It's down the drain, yeah.
Do they have like a big hole they just throw it down or something? Or?
It just goes, it's like the embalming table, and it just goes
it's at a Hey, is there something called a trocar?
Yeah.
There used to be a car club of shit, they
Was
were
it hearses?
Yeah, they were hearses. They were called
They're
the
called
trocars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard of that actually.
Yeah, I don't know. Are they still around or no?
I don't know. But yeah,
That was
I know
a
what you're
while
talking
back. I
about.
always wanted to like get one, and then like the older I got, I was like, that'd be a hell of a thing. If you broke down, no one would ever help you. They wouldn't want to stop and help you. They're not helping that guy.
I was looking up a hearse not too long ago to see how much they would run, like an old school actual like probably Cadillac. It was a Cadillac that I saw.
Yeah.
And it
Well, let me
actually
get
wasn't
these
that bad.
bones
To
off
actually find parts and everything for it now would be extremely expensive.
Sorry about that. Yeah, those hearses. Yeah, they were cheap back then. Like this was 2001 or something. But then each one of them needed to be fixed up, and it'd be a nightmare to find parts for you, right? But
Yeah.
so is the trocar still a thing that you use?
Mm-hmm.
Really, they're like insert the trocar at this point of the.
Yeah.
That's like a needle or something, isn't it?
It's pretty much like a huge. It almost looks like a needle, but
Is it that long?
it's pretty long. There's like different kinds actually.
Gosh.
So there's one about this big. There's one smaller than that.
Oh,
And
so
then
there's
sure you
multiple
have-
ones you use?
Yeah, and there's different ones that you use for like infants as well.
Oh,
so
gosh.
depending on the size of the body
Wow.
is pretty much what you use, and that goes as well for like all the arterial, like fluids. And
To get the
everything that
blood
you
out, what do
use.
they do? Like up here or down here? Or
Depends on the cadaver.
yeah,
And,
if it's just like a person that had a heart attack or something. Would
yeah, it's usually inserted.
The neck.
Yeah, like your collarbone.
You ever seen anyone that drowned or anything?
No, and I was gonna talk about one that I saw, but I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
think I'm allowed to.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, because this one is pretty bad.
Yeah, and
But I will
everyone will
say-
know who it is, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how this is a really good story too. But I look like an asshole telling it, so I have to tell it to you later. But yeah, it was a big bloated body, and they let me go in the back and check it out. It smelled horrible.
Yeah.
And it was crazy how big everything swells up when it
Yeah,
drowns.
usually, a lot of times that'll happen like regularly, especially with people with edema. So you'll have like their bodies swell up.
What's
because
edema?
It's like the excessive amount of water.
Oh.
That's in your body.
If they have like a heart condition or something,
Yeah,
like
heart condition, or say like diabetes, for instance. like your
they're
feet or
storing
something like that.
fluids.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of fluids, so it'll swell up, and it.
Oh, it gets even
smells
worse.
Really, really bad.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So this whole job is like bad. The worst smell I ever had, I had to do community service at the dog pound. And I had to go in the dog place where they kept the dogs, and it was like 200 dogs. Each of the dogs had probably crapped twice. So that's 400 craps I had to clean up at 6 in the morning. It was horrible. And then after I said, I can't take this anymore, they kept trying to do that. They said, okay, you got to go move cats. You got to deal with the cats now. So they put me in a room with stray cats, a whole wall of mean stray cats. I had to move them from one to another. I got like 2 cats in, and I just quit. I had to go do something else But yeah, the bad smells.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So what did they give you? Something that you put in there? How does that
Usually,
work?
a lot of people will use Vicks or some kind of.
And that's strong enough to.
I don't use it. I honestly don't really have an issue with the smell.
Right.
And some like.
You
it'll
just kind of
linger,
hold your
too.
breath.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't really, like, you can, but you're going to be working on a cadaver for a few hours depending on the cases.
Oh, so it's never quick.
You can't just like, oh no. I think the shortest one we had was like maybe an hour
Wow.
and a half, and that's still like, yeah.
So
you're
when
gonna be
somebody
spending more than an
does
hour.
an autopsy, like what are they just cut you all open or how? Wow.
So the autopsy cases that we work on, we don't actually do the incisions. When we get the bodies, they come to us already like that.
Oh.
So they're already opened up, and what we do is basically clean them and like drain them and prep the body. But what I found was pretty fascinating actually. So as far as like intestines and like your lungs and anything of that sort, it'll often get chopped up, like that's what we do. So we'll chop it up, mix it in like cavity fluid, and it'll sit in a bag while we're embalming like the cadaver, and then it actually gets stuffed right back into you.
Where, down their
Yeah.
throat?
No, in your stomach.
Oh my god.
So
Did they just put the bag in there?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I don't want to be buried. I don't want to be buried when I die. What about you? Are you?
I want to have an actual viewing.
And then have you cremated or something?
I don't know. I'm still unsure. Like, I think about it a lot, too, and I'm like, I wanted to be cremated at first, and then I was like, actually, I kind of don't. I think I want to be buried. So, I don't know.
Not for me. I've thought about it a lot.
Why don't you want to be buried?
Oh, it's just, it takes up too much room. I'd always be there. When I die, I just want there to be no evidence I was ever around. I just want to, if it's just dust, that's fine, but... No, there's stories like that. I don't want my guts in a Ziploc sack. But yeah, and I always knew that went on. And I've been to all these funerals. And I see the person. I'm like, well, now what? They're just going to put them in there and bury it and leave them there, and that's just supposed to be there forever.
Yeah.
Like, what about 1,000,000 years in the future?
Yeah.
It's just takes.
You often hear of like.
The natural burials.
And further down the line where like houses are always built on top of.
Oh yeah, like in Houston.
I believe like pretty much everywhere, like everyone's built on top of some body of some sort. I feel like there's just so many. Whether it's
an insect, a dog. Yeah. Yeah, death's always been around me for some reason. It's always been real close. Like I came in this house, I moved in here, and then all the neighbors came over and said, "Guess what? Lady hung herself in the basement, in that room over there. Hung herself on Easter Sunday." And so I'm come down here at night. I'm like, well, I've never seen a ghost or nothing, but I was like, well, I guess if they're gonna say something, they're being awfully quiet because I've been here a while. But yeah. So, well, is there anything else you want to say about death? Or?
Not really. I don't know. I think...
There's a lot to talk about, too, huh?
Oh, yeah,
I feel like I got a lot more questions about death.
I honestly used to be, like... I was always intrigued by it, but I feel like as far as, like, passing away, I was always scared of it.
Yeah.
And then I think the more when going to school and then, like, doing research and just watching a lot of stuff that I watch, like... It just, I don't know, opened my mind more and more accepting of it. So, like, now I actually see death as, like, just being beautiful. And I see, cadavers and stuff that I work on, and I just think it's a beautiful thing. So, I don't know. I just, I could go on and talk about it for a long time. But. Yeah,
I used to really be freaked out. Like, how am I going to die? But as I get older, I take notes. Like some people, there's a lot of heart attacks going on these days and stuff. Yeah. I guess if you die from a heart attack, that's probably not the worst way to die. Or is it?
Not.
No. I think a heart attack wouldn't be bad. Man, a guy I know has a bunch of rent houses where a bunch of wild shit's been happening lately. One guy put a sack over his head, taped it shut, taped it around his neck. He already had his letter out, suicide letter, and he signed it, ha, 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 and he died like that. And it was on Father's Day. They found him like that.
When was that?
This year, or whatever Father's Day, June or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had to come clean him up. And then, a week after that, some psycho son of a bitch went on a date with a woman, killed her, and parked it in another one of these guys' rent houses and burnt the car and shit. And it's like, damn, what a bunch of crazy-ass rent houses.
Sounds like a Tales from the Crypt episode.
Yeah, I hope it's over, too. I hope that was it, 'cause, oh, man, it's crazy out there. But, yeah. So when somebody dies, is there like a big center all the bodies get sent to, like in a region or something? Or because I noticed it's like a Tarrant County medical examiner. I always look in on that to see if there's anyone I know. Sometimes there is.
Yeah, I guess it just depends on the city, and then it's all up to the family too on where they get sent to, pretty much. And it actually is the city too. So like if it were to happen in Dallas County, most likely it's going to be in Dallas County.
Oh, okay.
One cool thing, though, as far as, like, cemetery goes and, like, burials and stuff like that, a lot of it is based on, like, your religion as well. So, like, how you're placed when you're buried or where you're placed all depends on, like, your religion and stuff,
Yeah. Can't have tattoos if you're a Jew. I got
True.
I got a friend that's a Jew, bunch of tattoos. She don't know what she's gonna do
And
when
they
she
used to
dies.
actually not believe in embalming either. And
Oh, that's why they had to get them
now-
in quick.
Now
I remember
they're
that,
actually
too.
being more like, I guess,
Yeah.
susceptible to it. It's becoming more of like a common thing.
Yeah. In the oven I go. I mean, I even thought about getting a tattoo to say that, 'cause that's how much against just laying there. And you know what really sucks? Because I'd go to the cemeteries in the summertime, and it was always hot as hell. I said, this is the last place I ever want to come again. So
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. Cremation would be all right, but as long as it's not like one of those zombie Haiti cremation. Remember that shit where they turn you into a zombie? They give you what's the poison blowfish? He's got his poison, and the guy will come up and prick you with maybe as an umbrella with a sharp point on it, and then that night your heart stops beat. It slows down so much that they think you're dead. So they take you to the a place like where you work, but this is in Haiti or somewhere.
Yeah.
And then a guy's in cahoots with the guy that's running that, so he comes by and he's like, all right, here he is. And they take you back, and all of a sudden you're enslaved in this camp. There was a guy that came out of it. I can't remember what his name is. You'll have to look it up on the internet, but yeah, that's pretty wild shit. So anyways, moving on. You're a model on top of all this. Wow. Where do you model at?
I've been modeling for quite a few years now, and mainly for publications, so pretty much magazines. That's mainly like my goal if I do work with someone. It's going to be for publications.
Yeah.
And it's mainly like either tattoo magazines or anything that's editorial.
Uh-huh.
So just do a lot of that. I love it. I think it's a lot of fun. And I'm not going to look like this forever, so might as well take advantage.
Yeah. What kind of magazines? Like what names of the publication?
I've been in Delicious Dolls.
Oh
a few
yeah,
times.
we had someone on here from there.
Yeah, I think you had
Steffi
Stephanie
Danger.
on here.
Yeah,
and
she was on
she's
here.
been in there a few times. I've been in Culture magazine, which is more editorial, more kind of like more gory, I guess.
What was it called?
Culture.
Is that where they have people hanging from hooks and shit like that? Or?
Not that one. It's got more like editorial, so it would be more gory, but I don't know about like hooks and stuff.
Chris Angel, I think, did it. They hooked him up, or maybe it wasn't him, but a guy that looked like him. They took him out over the Grand Canyon, did figure eights in the helicopter, and then brought him down. Everyone thought it was great. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Like what is it, suspension?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I saw one of the first shows I saw of that actually was like at a Halloween. It was Halloween night or something,
God.
and I fainted the amount of blood, like. Of course.
I'm a fainter myself.
I work with cadavers, but that was one of the times I fainted. I had to hold myself because they were actually suspended and there was so much blood pouring out. They had bucket.
That would have walked away. Where's this at? Like a haunted house or something?
It was at a haunted house.
Where at? Which one?
Man, this was so long ago. I think I was probably 19 at the time, yeah. But I was right up front, and it was just so much blood.
Oh my God.
I fainted, and one of my girlfriends was like, "Val, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and had to go wet my face, and I don't know. It was pretty bad.
God.
Now I can look at it, and it's fine.
Yeah.
But seeing all that, for the first time, and just the amount of blood.
Oh yeah, especially at a haunted house.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I used to have to get blood taken a lot, and I'd faint like every other time because I don't breathe. Then one time a nurse said, "Hey, you gotta breathe," and now I know the trick. Anytime you're gonna faint, you just gotta. I gotta quit paying attention to it and just
don't look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it always sucks when you get a nurse that's commenting on the blood too, because you can't close your ears.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a fainter, or I used to be. It's been years since I have, but I think in the right circumstances, I'd flop like a fish. Yeah, but well, is there anything else you'd like to talk about, or that's kind of all I have? Oh wait, you're a bartender too.
Yeah.
Okay, we forgot about that. So you're always dealing with drunks.
Yeah, I actually worked last night and we're extremely busy. I work at Sunshine Bar.
Oh, I've been there a lot, yeah.
Yeah, I've been working there. Let's see, we did, I think, it's been over 5 years. I think it's almost been 5.5 years or so.
Since you worked there? Mm-hmm. And how old is that bar?
It's been around, from what I've heard, early 60s.
Wow.
So it's been around for
Was
a
it always
long
called
time.
the Sunshine Bar?
Yeah, I think it was called the Sunshine Club before, and then they switched it to Sunshine Bar.
It's not a very big building, is it?
No, it's super tiny. Yeah.
I've been in there a few times. How do you get a lot of fights?
Actually, no. A lot of the good like fights and stuff don't happen on my nights for some reason.
I saw a scuffle there one time amongst two women. I saw a margarita glass go flying out the front door, and then she kind of went like this, and I didn't catch all of it, but yeah, they don't let you smoke there anymore either.
Not anymore. Pretty much all of, I guess, DFW is going to non-smoking. So I think the only area now is Grand Prairie. That's
what
still
about
all smoking.
Grand Prairie does?
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
I think so, yeah.
What about like building a deck? Because you can't drink out there. That's why I noticed a lot. There's a guy like doing this. He was standing in the doorway, like drinking. Yeah, and then like some other guy with a flashlight, glasses, and a backwards hat. I guess he's like a security guy. He's like, "Get out! You can't do that." And so they had to go outside. But what do you think about maybe like putting an enclosed little deck or something?
That's pretty much what we're working on right now. And
oh, really?
we're supposed to have a patio built within the next actual month or so.
Wow, this is breaking news. Does anyone know about this? Or
I don't think a lot of people know about it.
Where are y'all putting it, the front or the back?
In the back.
Oh, that's where I'd put it too, yeah. How big is it going to be?
Honestly, it can't be that big because especially where the parking lot goes.
Oh, yeah.
And...
So probably just big enough for enough people to get out there.
Yeah, to get out and be able to actually smoke. But
wow, look at that. We got a lot of people that go there. Yeah, that's breaking news. Yeah. I got a confession to make. One time I was at the Sunshine Bar, and you know how y'all keep that big bucket of Cheeto Puffs?
You're not the first one who's stolen it.
Oh, yeah.
You know how many people have run out with
But
that
I mean,
bucket?
there wasn't a lot in it either. There's just a little bit.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel like it was like I was taking the whole Sam's Club purchase.
You know how many people I've had to yell at who will take it outside and they're just eating? Like,
oh, God, that's got to be nasty.
And,
at the end, it's got to be like 10% fingernail dust or something.
Or some fingernails in there, maybe.
Shit. God. As if those things weren't nasty enough.
Yeah, I don't... when I first started working there, I'll admit, like, you'd get drunk and you're like, oh, these are so good. Yeah. And then now I can't stand them. Like, I can't.
Yeah, I've wised up myself.
It's just,
it'd be cool if there was ever a fight in there, like nobody got hurt too bad, but the lid wasn't on just right and they got knocked in. Yeah, like a cheese puff fight. Maybe, that'll happen one day. But it's real dark in there, so you wouldn't be able to see them too well. Well... So yeah, if any of y'all are looking for a place to go hang out, or you go there often, go back because you'll be able to stand outside on wood and smoke and drink at the same time. When is that? Next month, hopefully.
It should be at the end of this month, actually, hopefully. So, if not by next month.
Pretty soon, you'll have to go out there, and we've been having a light winter or light summer too. So, maybe they'll come out there before that too.
Yeah. Come to the shows for sure, though.
Yeah.
They're always a good time and cheap beer and drinks. So
yeah. It's
probably like the cheapest bar down Division, honestly.
Yeah, I've always thought so. But I always liked it, too, because, there's not a lot of rules, but you have to stay within yourself. But I quit drinking, but to be honest, I fall off the wagon like every 4 or 5 months. Yeah. And, but the next day I get a real bad hangover. And then,
so we just started... serving White Claw for all of you.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of them out there. In fact, the last time I fell off the wagon, that's what I fell off into, was some White Claws. And
I still haven't tried any.
And it didn't even taste like alcohol. I was like, what is this? It was the lime one. And I thought for sure I should have been able to taste the alcohol, and I couldn't. Yeah. And so I drank another one, and I didn't even really get drunk. I had like 3 of them, and that was it. And I said, fuck this. And beer's gotten expensive, too, nowadays. Yeah. It's like $10 for a 6-pack. Used to, it was a little cheaper than that.
We don't really buy a whole lot of beer anymore, and if we do, I don't really know how much it is anymore. So
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
I just buy a bunch of weed nowadays. That's really all I buy, but probably cut that out. But yeah, so anyways, well, it's been great having you on the show.
Thank you for having
Yeah,
me.
you can check her out at, you got a web page or anything like that?
My Instagram's at One Tough Dame, and then if you want to find me on Facebook, you can as well, and it's under Val Herrera.
One Tough Dame on Instagram and Val Herrera
Instagram.
on Facebook.
Yeah.
And
If you're bored, come out on Saturdays to Sunshine Bar
yeah,
off Division Street and come have a good
yeah.
time.
Where's it? Cooper, between Cooper and Bowen. There's probably another street that's even closer to that than they're right down. But
Fielder.
I had to walk there not too long ago because I was at that video game bar.
Free play?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and everyone got kicked out at 12 or something. And then the Ubers were real expensive because there was a Cowboy game. So I had to walk with this drunk idiot, and he took me the wrong direction. And we went all the way down the street behind y'all and then curved around. I stepped in a hole, stubbed my toe on like a piece of metal. And then when I finally got there, I said, fuck this, I'm going home. And I just got a ride back. But I guess he stayed there and got drunk. But it was like all the way around and then up. And then, yeah, so there's no way to cut through. I guess
I think free play is just straight down.
yeah,
Division,
like I
isn't it?
said, I took some
drunk
bad
dude.
advice. And that was a horrible mistake. But anyways, it's been great having you on the show, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you, and ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with more Hot Joint after this.